Welcome to Under the Cardboard Box podcast. This is episode 14, and we're so glad to be here. How you guys doing? Let's go around the room. We actually have a very special guest from our middle school. We're so glad to introduce him, Elvis Charles.
All right, let's give it up.
Hey guys, what's up, man?
All right, so Elvis, you've heard us mention him before in our previous podcasts. He's our longtime middle school friend. For me, I go back with him back in elementary school. We've been gaming together for a long time, all of us. We have lots of history. He's actually one of the guys that Arnaldo was talking about in playing the original MGO online. So we decided to bring him in so he could share his knowledge of Metal Gear and the past and the history of all the stuff that we've done. So Elvis,
actually, the truth is, we just dragged him to the show, and we
we
pretty much said you're gonna be on. You just are. He came as a spectator.
Right. Yeah, he did.
And
Yep.
I looked at Heido and I was like, let's put him in the show.
Right. Exactly.
And he was just like, no, I'm good. Actually, why am I telling here? Tell fans. Tell them all.
Yeah, they tied me up and dragged me here, guys. You know.
Oh, so you're tied up?
Yeah, no, not anymore. Now I'm on camera, so you know.
So are you here of your own free will?
Yes, I am.
Yo, we love Elvis. We've known Elvis for a long time. He's
long time.
He's a very good friend, very hardworking friend.
Yes.
You know, when he was like in middle school, didn't you have like 3 jobs or something?
Yeah, you did.
Like you were always taking care of your mom, which is admirable.
Yeah.
Were you? How many jobs did you have? Did you have one or what? What was that?
It was like 5. Like 5 jobs.
Where did you work?
You know, I was a farmer, cab driver,
Farmer Joe.
Oh god.
Oh man. So a little backstory about this. We were playing all together when MGO released the original Metal Gear.
Yeah, for Metal Gear Solid 3 Substance.
So we each of us, we get it, and we're just like, all right, let's play and stuff. You got it a little bit later, right? A little bit after.
Yeah, he wasn't such a fan.
Right,
he was
right.
Just, you know, he would usually be the one making fun of us.
Yeah, for playing and stuff.
For playing and being fans of the show.
Exactly. So during that holiday break that I always talk about, the spring break, you know, he's making fun of us, whatever and stuff. But he gets the game, and I see this guy on in the morning, and I'm like, wow, he must enjoy. He's probably gonna just play for a bit and stuff. I go back on in the night, and he's still on because he's still playing.
Yeah, guys, I got addicted real quick.
Yeah, it was good because we all Arnaldo used to do this headshot competition, whatever training. Do you remember that when you used to do that?
I mean, I so feel like I would do something like that though. The beauty of it is, I've got to say something about Elvis though. He was a very good rival, and player online. He was actually the Hound I was talking about. I don't know which episode it was. One in ancient times.
I can't remember.
It has to be like episode 4 or something.
Yeah.
But Elvis had he once got the code name Hound for his online emblem.
Yep.
Once had it, and then it kind of changed. Why don't you tell us what happened, Elvis?
So the way this all started off was you guys were online before me, you know, with your little squirrel ranking. And
Yeah.
I think Arnoldo had
Flying
Doberman at one point. I was just like, nah, I want to be better, like, you know. So I played morning, noon, and night every day, and the rankings in that game were you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, you didn't know.
Yeah.
You definitely didn't know.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have to go like with certain type of rules, certain names meant something. You know, Eagle meant you always got a headshot. Hound meant you had like a death, and the death kill ratio had to be of a certain, you know, it had to be of a certain standard. So you were really good if you were able to balance your kills and your headshots. So I think you were the only Hound that I knew personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. The goal was to get Foxhound, but I was never that good. I used to also join headshot only matches as well.
Right.
Because I was addicted to
Roommate.
I was addicted to the game for a while, and I think I played online before I actually played the game itself. And then when I started playing the game, that became another competition between me and Arnaldo.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us more about that. Tell us more.
So, the final mission against the boss, where you had to defeat her. I think there was a little offside. What was it?
It was like time trial. You had to defeat the bosses.
Yeah, in certain times.
Yeah, boss battles.
Yes, boss battle. That's what it's called. And me and Arnaldo had our little duel for a while. It'll go back and forth, and our times were like ridiculous. Like he would beat it, I would crush it, and then he would just crush mine. I'll be so devastated. Like I worked so hard to be perfect because you had to be perfect to get the fastest time.
That's right.
I mean, but here's the rule we followed. I believe this is. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Elvis. We had to do it with no weapons. I think was it no weapons or what was it? I forgot.
Yeah, it was no weapons. It was stun her and let's do it as fast as possible. Basically, no weapons at all.
Right.
Okay. Man, but it was so epic. The three of us would play online sometimes.
Yeah, sitting under siege was just like 4 a.m. just going at it all the time.
But I don't know how Elvis could do it with a job though.
Yeah, I don't remember.
How did you manage to like work, play, and then go to school?
Metal Gear was life. Metal Gear was life.
So going more into the future, after that, we played Metal Gear Solid 4. So if you could tell us a little bit about that.
All right. So my Metal Gear Solid 4 days were pretty cut short, but I didn't like the online after a while due to the fact that people were using the little headshot glitch machine.
Yeah.
And I would get owned. So I gave up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now you're playing MGS5 though, right? You have it on the PlayStation 4 now?
Yes. Sir.
How do you feel about the online there?
I just started it yesterday, I believe. Yet again, I'm going back to my old ways of only using stun weapons and stealth. So
nice.
It's difficult when people are using assault rifles and you're trying to run up to them and trying to stun them out, knock them out. But
yeah,
it's pretty fun so far. I'm gonna let Arnaldo and Hyro know how it goes in emails and
What's your class? What class do you use?
I don't have a class yet. I legit just started. I don't recall I've selected a class. I don't think it allowed me to select a class.
Right.
Okay.
So in every Metal Gear game, so like aside from the online, in let's say from starting from 1 all the way till 5, which one is your favorite in story mode?
Snake Eater is my favorite.
Nice. That's we definitely agree with that one.
Seems like we have a unanimous decision on and Metal Gear Solid 3. Speaking of Metal Gear Solid 3, if you guys look at our Twitter, by the way, you can follow us on Twitter at UCB Podcast.
That's right.
We did put up a video of Metal Gear Solid 3, but with an MGS5 trailer style, and it is epic.
It's really good.
It's just like it captured me. There were other ones for Part 4, Part 2, with an MGS5 kind of style to it. The trailer, with Sins of the Father in the background, but this Part 3 really took it. When you guys have a chance, check it out. It's on YouTube. Check it out on our page. If you're not following us on Twitter, follow us on Twitter. If you want to be friends on Facebook, we're on Facebook. And guys, if you just heard in the beginning, we've also opened up a Patreon. Patreon. We finally were able to film a proper introduction to our Patreon.
Yeah.
As it said, we want to bring you more content. We want to be more. How would I say this? We want to be more frequent, more Twitch streams. We just want to really bring you the best of Metal Gear, and we want to be known as the voice of Metal Gear.
Absolutely. I think that you hit it right on the head when you said that we want to bring you more. With the Patreon, what we're going to do is have a lot more content, have a lot more things that we could actually do for the fans, and have the means to do so. Obviously, we're still trying, we're still starting out, and we're still doing most of the things that we can do right now. But with your help and your support, we could do a lot more. And there's so many things that we're talking about now. And, obviously we can't talk about, like I said last week, but there's things that are in the works. And, I think with that proper push, we would get those things out in time, and the quality would be exactly what I think Metal Gear fans deserve.
Yeah, Elvis. Not Elvis and I. Heido and I have been talking about these future plans, and we really, as he said, we want to see this as a reality.
Yeah.
We want to see this come to life, just like this podcast is, just like everything that we've been doing because of your support has been happening. Your comments, your subscriptions, your following on Twitter has pushed UCBP to where it is.
Absolutely.
And we want to immerse you more into UCBP. We're also trying to open an Instagram so you guys have more behind the scenes type of a thing if you're into that. And we're looking into other things. We won't discuss all of them only because we wanted to surprise you.
Yeah.
But we are constantly working. But that being said, Heidel, my man, how you doing?
Doing good, man. There's lots of things. I had this whole week off from my regular day job, so it's been good. I've been catching up on some gaming. I've been playing a lot of The Witcher. Like I said, that game just never ends. It's extremely long.
If you've been listening to the other episodes, he's a fan.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a fan of The Witcher.
No, I love this game.
No, it's a good game.
It's a very good game. I mean,
game.
it won Game of the Year like everywhere.
Yeah. And I mean, I haven't played it. I want to.
Yeah.
Only because I've seen you play and it looks good.
Yeah, it's good.
It looks good.
Have you played The Witcher? Have you heard about it?
I've heard about it, but I haven't played it yet.
So it's pretty much like a big open world, but it takes like 200 hours to beat, like just to beat the game.
So it's like a Skyrim of some sort?
Right, exactly. So it's set in like those kind of medieval times, Renaissance age, but it's a very meaty game. But I know you have a PlayStation 4, so aside from Metal Gear, what do you play?
I also play Black Ops, Grand Theft Auto. I just got Phantom Pain the other day.
Nice. Heard that game is okay.
It's pretty dope, yeah.
We were thinking of starting a podcast for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Great idea, guys. I don't think there's any other podcasts out there for Metal Gear Solid, so
That's right.
it'll be great. Naruto Storm 4 was recently purchased, and NBA 2K5 15.
2K15? I thought 2K16 came out.
Yeah, well, I got money for that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's a humble guy. He's a humble guy. Okay. Anything else, bro?
I think that's pretty much it. A lot of UCBP stuff happening
we
this week.
Yes.
I think this whole week was taken into consideration that we'll have time off to do this, and that's why you saw in the beginning our Patreon, and also if you can search for under the cardboard box /Patreon, you will see our Patreon video, which he was just talking about. We spent the whole week doing that for you guys, so you guys can have a better understanding of what exactly we're doing. With our tiers there. But in that case, we had the Dice Summit as well. We saw that. It was pretty cool to see Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro, which we'll talk about more in the news, together again. That was pretty cool. I sat down to watch that for a bit, and I think that's pretty much all I have.
Yeah, guys, I was honestly very impressed with what Heidel did with that video.
Oh, I have no idea what I'm doing with video. So
we're learning this as we go.
Yeah.
And that's kind of sort of what we're talking about when we say we want to bring more content out to you.
Absolutely.
Helping us on the Patreon will allow us more opportunities.
Yeah.
Because as he had mentioned, we do have like other things we need to accomplish.
Yeah, of course.
But with your help, we can set aside more time. We can feel a little more comfortable. It is pretty hectic for Heidel. I mean, he is planning for a wedding.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Crazy because I never thought I'd see the day, but I'm so proud of him.
Thanks.
I said that before they were like, "You're just too mean to Heidel."
Yeah.
I said that.
and now,
yes. It's great, man. So,
what about yourself?
Well, I was actually gonna ask Elvis, but I'll go first. It's fine. Man, I've been okay. Still, I honestly I don't know if you guys ever heard of Postmates. I've decided to do that. It's a job. It's a courier job. So that I've chosen it because it allows me to make my own schedule. and it frees me up to really concentrate on UCBP. But then again, I am also waiting for something a little more serious if it comes along, or if I see myself doing this for a very long time. I want UCBP to grow. I honestly see it. Yeah, I see it as, I think you and I both see it as our baby. And I hope that you, the fans, see it as a growing business, a growing project, and a place you can call home, you Metal Gear fans.
Absolutely. Something you could just turn on, tune in, and just hear what we have to say about Metal Gear.
Yeah, and really just get into your lives, just like you guys are getting into ours, by sending your emails to underthecardboardbox@gmail.com, your comments on Twitter, on Facebook. We see them all. I mean, I was reading something from Christopher where, he won the code last week, MGS Steam code. I hope you're enjoying it, Christopher. But he was very emotional hearing it, and that kind of touched my heart.
Yeah, it did. It shows that people care. It shows that, like, just normal listeners like us can just go in and we can hear our names be said, like, in a podcast, just because we're all friends here.
Even though they say it wrong.
Of course,
a lot of times. Or they don't even know our names.
Oh, yeah.
But we understand their newcomers.
And it's all right, but
it's okay.
As someone, like, I put myself in Christopher's shoes where, I'm looking at the fans as the faithful followers of ours, that as our friends, that we share this common and it's Metal Gear. Yeah. Metal Gear is so huge, and I think that the fans, aside from, like, Hideo Kojima and everyone, he's already said his story, Kojima. Yeah. Obviously with this being his last one. Now it's the fans' turn, so they can tell their stories. Right. And this is what we want to do with this podcast.
The entire message of Metal Gear that I think Kojima wanted to leave was that we can be Big Boss.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That you know what I mean? And we are making the story. At least that's what Raiden's portion was. Yeah. You're this rookie who's a fan of Snake. Yeah. You want to be just like him, so they put you through this kernel. It's supposed to simulate, and you're supposed to become like Snake.
Absolutely.
But Ocelot said anyone can be shaped like Snake. Anyone can fight with experience, with a little bit of backup. Elvis, I know it's your first time on our show. He is an active listener and one of our supporters on Patreon.
Yeah, which you can support at patreon.com/UCB podcast.
Yes, he is one of our supporters, one of our very dear friends, as I said before. But I want to know how he's doing besides all the MGS history that we've had and all the fun that we've had in middle school. Tell us how you're doing, man.
I'm doing great, guys. This podcast you guys are doing is pretty awesome, I remember when you guys first brought it up, the idea, and I was just like, go with it, see how it goes, and it's growing fast. Like, I have to say, it's growing fast. Like,
thank you.
From episode 1 to 13, now we're doing 14 now. It's the fans are great because I'm not gonna lie, I creep on Facebook because I get all the notifications
late at night,
and I wake up and I just look, and the fact that my friends from middle school have fans now is pretty awesome. You know what I mean? And like they said, you guys are not just fans; you guys are friends, family. You know what I mean? It's great. It's great to support these guys. So
thank you, man, and it's an honor to have you at our show.
I feel honored. Thank you.
It really is, man. Thank you for coming.
So we're before we get into the news, so where can we find you, Elvis? Where can we follow you? Where can we get your information?
Yeah, if you guys want to be Elvis's friend, maybe on PlayStation or
talk about Metal Gear. Or
any of you guys play 2K15 as well? I don't, but he does. Obviously, I don't. You don't play 2K15, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, where can we find you, bro?
You guys can add my PSN, my PlayStation Network. It's xBlackman91. I repeat, xBlackman91.
Awesome.
We will definitely have that in the show notes.
Yep.
Elvis, thank you so much for joining us on the show in this portion. And let's just go into the news.
All right. So this part is brought to you by Metal Gear Informer. This is where we get all our news from. This past week, the DICE Summit happened. It was, I think, Wednesday through Friday. And Guillermo del Toro and Hideo Kojima made an appearance there. They had a panel with Jeff Keighley this past week. If you could tell us a little bit about what happened there with the first news.
Well, it is my honor, it is our privilege to announce that Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain wins Adventure Game of the Year.
Nice.
The DICE Award.
Let's get it.
If you saw the acceptance, it was a little funny. But they did throw a little shade at Konami.
What did they say?
Well, when they announced the award, I
was this during the awards or?
Yes, during the award.
Okay.
When they announced who won, when they announced Metal Gear 1, I don't know who the woman's name is or the guy's name is.
Okay.
It didn't pay that much attention, but the woman said, "We're sorry to announce that Konami could not be here to accept the award."
Oh my goodness.
And we know this was shade thrown from when
at the video game awards.
Yeah, when Keith Sullivan accepted the award in place
of
Hideo Kojima. And he says, "I'm sorry, Hideo Kojima could not be here." But we know that Konami had forbidden him by
it was a
consequence of law.
Right, yeah.
We don't know what kind of consequence it would have been, or whatever the case may, or what was holding him back from it.
Yeah, we still don't know.
But we know that during this DICE Award, and you're going to talk about it, he did receive recognition for his work. So we are proud to say, whatever you may feel for Metal Gear Solid 5, some of you might not like it. Some of you think that it was kind of wish-wash or that it was lacking.
Right. It won.
But yeah, this even it's like you're in a race, you're in a dash race, and you got a broken leg, and you still win.
That's right.
So
and my thing is that in such a honor like this, where Hideo Kojima's, this is his first time that he gets to accept this award for the game that he just made. It's a beautiful thing when you see something created and you worked hard on it, and as the creator, you're just like, wow, this is it right here, and we win. So it was good to see him on stage. He was smiling a lot. He was I saw. He was
very happy to be there.
Very, very happy.
He was very happy to be
especially amongst friends and like people that have been close to him. It's good to see that. So no matter, let's say, no matter what, that if they could say whatever they want about Metal Gear Solid 5 or whatever, but let's go a little deeper than that. Let's go into Hideo Kojima's life. His life that he's lived. He's been making games for over 30 years. 30 years,
yeah.
So this is an honor for him. And let's go beyond just the game. This is something where he has the right to be up there.
He's finally reaping what he sowed.
Right, exactly.
He's finally, it's like he worked hard to make these games.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's been through his trials. He's been, I won't get into that now since we're talking about this specifically about his acceptance speech. But we know from his acceptance speech and what people have said from him, he has made such an impact. They call him genius when it comes to gaming and it comes to storytelling. As if you've played Metal Gear, you would know that he has made other games like Police Knots, etc., Zone of the Enders. But Metal Gear is what he is known for, and it's complex stories. So they finally recognized him, and his product. Maybe it wasn't the game itself, but just the legacy behind it.
Absolutely, yeah. You hit it right on the head. Yeah,
we're glad that Metal Gear 1, not only as fans of Metal Gear, but as supporters of Kojima and what he wants to do.
Right, absolutely.
In other news, we go to now Kojima news.
Yeah, so like I said, they just hosted the summit, and in that came him collaborating and talking about VR and Guillermo del Toro and all that. So it's pretty cool, seeing them together, because if you didn't know, Guillermo del Toro and Kojima, they were going to make the next iteration for Silent Hills, which was PT. They let out a playable teaser last year where people got to play it. It was extremely cool. Anyway, it got a huge reception, right? And people were just fascinated by it. There's been a lot of games like Allison Road, who is inspired by PT, that just came out on Kickstarter. Games like that. that has been inspired by them by this. So seeing them together was really cool. So on February 18th, Hideo Kojima attended the DICE Summit in Las Vegas to have a public conversation with filmmaker Guillermo del Toro. And Jeff Keighley talked about his inspiration and future ambitions on this occasion. Several outlets conducted interviews with Kojima as well. So here he talks about on the new studio. So his new studio, which is Kojima Productions.
Very subtle.
Yes. Currently, Kojima is building his new independent studio, Kojima Productions. Quote, in theory, ideally, you put together some staff, you look for facilities, and then you start working on a project. Planning and testing, but I'm doing all of this in parallel, in parallel to his old studio, right? So for this new studio, I definitely want to keep the size of the team somewhat limited. He also says, quote, there was a time where I had a team that was growing over 200 people, and that at that point, this mythology proved to be difficult. It was impossible to be together and polish everything for this new studio. I definitely want to keep the size of the team somewhat limited. When I first entered this industry, the teams were pretty much like 5 people. I felt like an indie game. Everybody had to do a little bit of everything, and nowadays, where anyone has their defined role, it's not like that. It feels like a factory. End quote. So then he goes on to say on his next project, right? He says, quote, I feel extremely free right now. I'm trying to make a very, very edgy game with an extremely small team. For my first project, I'm working with Sony, so I have to do something for them. But I'm doing exactly what I want to do. End quote. This is astonishing to me in a way where it's like, I think he feels he finally feels free. Yeah. You know, like if it was like something where he didn't feel as free, I guess, with Konami and to do what he wanted to do, which I'm going to get to then, you know, because there's rumors about him talking about like that he over budgets and whatever. So you
had to pay all those people.
Well, of course, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
They put in countless hours.
Yep. Yeah.
And I guess that's what he was getting at. It was just like, it was crazy. Yeah.
So he also goes into saying, like I did in the past, quote, like I did in the past, I want to make something that has a very strong dramatic story, end quote. He goes on a little bit more saying his partnership with Sony. He goes, quote, Sony is supporting us to make a big game that's edgy with a strong story and gives the player a lot of freedom with new elements, end quote. So that could mean another open world game, you know, is a lot of freedom. That's pretty cool. He also says, if the first project fails, we won't have any future to speak of. So we are very focused on that. It's a big scale game, so we're ready. So we're being very careful. So I guess he's very meticulous in what he's going to do with his next project. I think he wants it to be over the budget, big, huge game, open world. I think that's where he's definitely going to go. What do you think?
I'm confident that whatever he decides to do, that it will be good. Only because Kojima he's very unorthodox.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of his gaming, and I mean, we've seen great games. Mm-hmm. We've seen great games. I personally like Uncharted. I like games of adventure and first person shooting. I've even enjoyed certain Call of Duties.
Yeah.
Epic storylines, especially the Modern Warfare arc with Soap and Captain Price. I've enjoyed those games, but when it comes to Metal Gear, it's just there's a certain type of lore. It's crazy and it's just amazing, and it just keeps you addicted.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if Kojima's work looks anything like that, I think whatever he pulls out is going to be great.
Yeah,
because I know he's going to work on it like he did Metal Gear. By that I mean the effort and the strength.
And now that he has Sony to back him up, and his team, I think he has a larger scale where he can reach. I'm obviously just a PlayStation fans and stuff, but I think this was set up for new encounters with, you know, I'm hoping Microsoft and other ventures. You know, he did say he's going to come out on PC as well, so definitely working with that partnership is important to him, obviously. So here he says on Sony, Sony was very respectful towards me and what I do. So it seems like he was very clear from the start with Sony, like, hey, this is what I want to do, and I respect if you actually you do that and stuff. So obviously they're letting him do whatever he wants. Sorry about that. Our battery died for the camera.
It happens.
Like I was saying before, his partnership with Sony has to be very important for them to actually go ahead and go forth with this with Kojima. So in collaborations with like future collaborators, or obviously with Guillermo del Toro, he speaks a little bit about it. So here he says, quote, both of them are great people. They're interesting people. I'm good friends with both of them. He's talking about Norman Reedus and Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
I'd love to work with them in the future, but I have no idea what that will be. However, speaking to GameSpot, Kojima said his first project will probably not be a collaboration, but something that really carries his identity. So obviously something along the lines of maybe stealth action or I mean, we don't know yet. But
I really think that Sony sees this as a great investment.
Absolutely. I think that they're just going in all hands on deck.
They're saying whatever you do is going to be great. We have faith in you. Do it. Do it, and we're backing you. And I think that's what Hideo wanted. Maybe everyone at Konami didn't do that. Who knows? I'm only speculating at this point in time.
For sure.
But yeah, I think now that Kojima is able to work with who he wants, able to budget what he wants, able to say what he wants in his game, it's his game now. I think it'll just be great.
So he goes on a little bit about VR. So he goes, quote, shooters are always fun, but I'm more interested, for example, in bringing out feelings in people that are unique to VR. Kojima told IGN, quote, some feelings are maybe displeasure, maybe horror, but not the kind of horror you get from grotesque or gory things, but a kind of different horror. So end quote. So that's something pretty cool. He's interested in VR. Maybe something obviously along the lines of PT. And
it's funny. He's been doing VR missions,
right? Yeah,
in Metal Gear Solid, but now he's actually able to do VR.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
real. Man, I really hope Konami does something like that with the Metal Gear franchise. Like, can you imagine a VR training missions? Like,
that would be amazing.
A legit one.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be so awesome. You're just like running around doing the choking and shooting first person view or something like that.
That'd be cool. It'll be a fun way to kind of get VR like on the platform. I don't think it has any like good IP, like a strong intellectual property that can just be like, man, I'm getting VR for that. That could be one. Like Metal Gear VR. Like how else can you put it?
I mean, that's pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah. So he goes on and talking about Metal Gear. So they ask him about Metal Gear.
Gotta ask the hard questions.
Of course. In an interview with GameSpot, Kojima was asked that the biggest misconception about him said, quote, a lot of people say that I spend too much money or take too much time, but that's a misconception. He said, my last project was late about 5 or 6 months, but I've always kept my word on timelines and budget. For example, I do take 3 to 4 years to make games, but that's the plan from the start. Now I'm making something new. I'm making a new game. So, end quote. Hey, so maybe people were wrong about, because I was definitely a believer of like he just over budgeted and all that. So he said that that's not true. It's a misconception.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of stories in the air.
Yeah.
We want the truth.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
do you think we'll ever get the truth?
I believe everything comes to light.
Yeah.
I think if someone looks for it, they'll find it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we can find it.
Yeah.
But what I think will happen is that this will eventually die down.
Yeah.
Especially when Kojima comes out with his new game in like 2032 or something like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They're just going to see.
Well, hey, maybe we could get this timeline. He said all right. 3 to 4 years. Maybe in 3 to 4 years we'll get this game.
Yeah, okay. And how many times did we see Metal Gear was coming out this year and then it pushed back?
Yeah, I know.
3 to 4 years for Kojima is like 8. I think Kojima is like, he's like, we can say this because we're Hispanic. This isn't racist. But Hispanics are usually late.
Yeah.
I'm
say
guilty
12
of that.
you're very guilty of that. Am I right, Elvis?
I just wanted to, Elvis, stop it. We'll put you back on the show. The only reason I said it was because I knew one of you would do it.
Of course.
And I just wanted to do it.
So you want to say it first.
Yeah. I did it. I said it about myself, but no one's gonna say, stop being so mean about yourself.
Right, exactly. No one's gonna say that.
Only to you.
Only to me. But going on, they asked him about his beard. So
his beard,
So
I heard beer. That's why I was like, what?
No,
what?
his beard.
His beard. No
So
alcohol.
he said, "quote I'm not used to it, so I think I think about shaving it every day. I'm becoming an independent and creating my own studio. I wanted to change something about my look. I've received a lot of positive comments from people outside Japan about my beard, but inside Japan, beards have a bad image. People don't think you look old, you look tired. My kids definitely don't like it. Let's hope Kojima won't succumb to the pressure and keep his defined new look." So I actually like it. I think it's pretty cool.
I think he looks like a rebel.
It's funny. We have beards, so it's cool.
I remember you asked me something, and I wasn't even too sure. You asked if Kojima was married.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And now we find out he has kids.
His personal life is like
it's under a cardboard box. Thank you, Steven. But sorry, terrible pun. But yeah, I guess he's married.
Yeah, married with kids.
Is he married? I know we know he has kids,
married.
but he's married. He's married.
Married.
Okay.
Married man.
So Kojima is a taken man with a cause and a rebel.
Yeah. So something exciting that came out of this after the panel. Hideo Kojima receives Hall of Fame award at the 19th annual DICE Awards.
Congratulations, Kojima.
During the DICE 19th annual awards in Las Vegas, Kojima has received the Hall of Fame award for his work in the industry. Guillermo del Toro took the stage to present the award. Quote, "The most salient aspects of Kojima-san are his absolute passion for perfection and his narrative ambition and scope." Del Toro said in a speech in a pre-recorded video, Kojima's impressive career has summarized and commented by Mark Cerny and J.J. Abrams. After the video, Del Toro invited Kojima himself to the stage to accept the award. Afterwards, Kojima held a short speech while receiving a standing ovation. He said, quote, "When I was a kid, there was no such profession as game designer. As a kid, my dreams were becoming an astronaut, becoming a safari ranger, becoming an inspector of the LAPD, or becoming a movie director. At some point, I had to give up on all of those dreams. But then, 30 years ago, I met video games. Ever since I've been making video games, and since then, I believe this is my true calling. There's no such thing so fun as making video games. Thanks to games, I've been able to meet all of you, and also been able to receive this award. And also, games make true your travel dreams. Whenever you turn on a game, you can go to space. You can go protect wildlife. You can go investigate cases. And today, I was able to receive an award from a movie director that I love and respect. Thank you so much. From now on, I hope I can keep making games and dreaming of new dreams while making games. Thank you so much." End quote. Here you see the trophy. It looks pretty awesome. It's like a sphere triangle looking thing.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome looking.
Yeah. What do you think about that, man?
I think he received it very humbly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He did. When I saw Hideo I've never seen like Hideo Kojima outside of a interview kind of like a formal interview.
Right.
I think this is the first time I've seen him accept an award. I'm sure he's accepted before.
Yeah.
But I was never really into the media and stuff like that. I thought he accepted it gracefully.
Yeah, he did. It was very cool. It's very humbling.
Yeah, very calm, very cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I've always dreamed of doing. I've never. This was not what I saw myself doing.
Yeah. In the special edition of Metal Gear Solid 4, he does speak about becoming a cop and all of that and stuff. Yeah. He has spoken about that before.
An inspector, and that, exactly what he just said. Through games, you can do those things.
You can do that.
And so I guess I see that he's painting what he would have wanted to do in his game. So maybe he views himself, he wanted to view himself as as Big Boss,
Mhm.
or view himself as Snake, as a hero, as someone who was a legend, who didn't want to take credit.
Yeah.
You know, because if you look at Solid Snake or Big Boss, they never really take credit for what they do.
No.
Big Boss didn't accept the name until he finally was able to come to terms with the boss dying and her giving up and stuff like that. He took the mantle. But before that, he was just like, call me Snake, because he didn't deserve it. And so
Sure.
I feel like when he accepted the reward, it was kind of like, man, thank you so much. This was great. I don't think I ever saw myself coming here.
Yeah.
So it was great.
That's
good.
awesome,
It was
man.
good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's humbling to me to see that, just because I'm a creative as well, you know, and to see him striving like that for 30 years making this game. He was just a kid, and you know, now in his 50s, still making video games and still reaching for that top. Like, he's still saying, I want to go in and I want to make the best game that I can. You know, no limits, just here you go. And he's still striving to do that. That's astonishing to me. I hope to see. I'm extremely excited for his new game. That is beyond belief. But I'm also excited with the things that are happening with Metal Gear outside of the world. Like, what is it going to look like outside of Kojima? I know a lot of people have said it's probably going to fail, everything. But I'm curious as to how is it going to look. Because remember, Metal Gear wasn't just made with Mr. Kojima. It was made by a lot of other people that helped him make it. Of course, he had the vision and he pushed it. But it's good to see him talk about this and really blatantly say, like, hey, these misconceptions, everything, this is what's going on. It gives us a little hint of what's been going on between Konami versus Kojima. I'm definitely excited. So what else are we looking at here?
Well, I think you guys will be excited to know that we've got some information on Quiet as
Finally.
a playable character on MGO. Do you remember how we speculated?
Yeah.
That we said that
Last week.
Yeah, we said what type of moves she might have, the slowing down in first person view, things like that.
Mhm.
So we actually have the list, as I had mentioned.
Nice. So this comes from their developer notes, right? Their new designer developer notes.
Yes, courtesy of Metal Gear Informer. So Quiet. First off, we were right on a lot of things
Okay.
that we speculated. Quiet, when she's sprinting, she will be invisible, and then she'll be able to sprint very quickly, kind of like in the game.
Right. Yeah.
She has amazing, according to the when I read the developer notes, she has amazing aim. Like, very.
So it's not like swaying circle.
They say very to none.
Wow.
Very little to no sway at all.
Wow. Okay.
And the best news is she's able to climb like any surface without a ladder. So she'll just like
go up,
transport up there.
Wow.
So she
is pretty much
she's OP.
a beast. Yeah.
She's
That's
beast. Like,
that's
you can you
OP.
imagine, especially with the laser? Like, you know how you see the laser in the game?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine you hear like
That's it.
she's aiming at like so she's gonna be literally
Destructive force.
a dead shot. Like,
Yeah.
So we're gonna put a poll up this week, and we're gonna ask you guys, are you a scout? And if you are you that excited that Quiet
Right.
is going to be part of it? So please give us your vote. We've been putting up polls, and we want to hear from you, and then we'll say it on the show what we're thinking. Or rather, what you're thinking. And then in other news, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is the best-selling PS4 game in Japan, over 42,500 copies. Or is that... No, 42 million.
425,000 copies.
Yes.
That's a lot of copies.
That is still a lot of copies, so much that I couldn't say the number.
So much.
I'm just doing... Before anyone gets on me...
Oh, of course,
I'm just going to make fun of myself.
You have to do that.
Because if I don't do it...
Then the comment section is
just going to be like... But
go back to elementary school and this
stupid.
or whatever. Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I make mistakes. So yeah, it sold that many copies.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Especially when, I mean, half of those are probably Metal Gear fans, of course, because they live over there. But I think most of the fans are in the United States, in my opinion. But man, that's so good. I know Kojima sees that and he's just like, I'm making none of that.
I am getting none of that.
None of that.
425,000.
That's a lot.
That's a lot and that's just Japan, though.
Yeah, that's just exactly.
That is just Japan.
Just Japan. Yeah. Yep.
But it's saying it's the best-selling PS4 game.
Yeah.
And look, it's for PlayStation. PlayStation is big in Japan.
Yeah, I want to see if Uncharted can top that. You know, or like certain exclusives.
It's still not out, but yeah.
I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. When it
imagine-
does, let's match it up.
Right.
You know, we do like Uncharted, but 425,000.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Um,
But I digress. We are so glad to hear that. And that is all the news we have for today. It might not seem like a lot, but it was big news.
Yeah, for sure. We got to hear a little bit about what Kojima has said, a few things that, like the misconceptions part and stuff. But I'm glad to hear that he's excited to continue on this venture. Yeah, with that being said, tips with Arnaldo.
Okay, so if you have a grenade and you chuck it at someone's head, it'll automatically knock them out. And since it'll explode, if it's a lethal grenade, it'll kill them, effectively giving you a kill point and a knockout point. But good luck trying to get that kind of hit. If you're going up against a walker gear, use your cardboard box. Slide. You're going to be able to, if you can slide past him, you can quickly get out of the cardboard box and see him. The walker gear can't turn that quickly. And third, if you're going up against an enforcer with a shield and you don't have a shotgun but you've got a cardboard box, use the cardboard box slide to hit him. It'll knock him down. That should work.
So you can write it to underthecardboardbox@gmail.com to submit your question for the week. We've been giving away Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain for PC, courtesy of Konami, and we have a new winner. So he followed us on Facebook, on Twitter, and he sent us an email. His name is Carlos Elias.
Congratulations, Carlos. Congratulations. You sent in your email for discussion at underthecardboardbox@gmail.com, and you were selected to win. So we will give you your copy of Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain for Steam PC.
That's right.
Just email us back so we know that you're alive.
Yes,
and
please.
we will more than gladly send you your code. And you guys can also win by doing exactly what he did. If your discussion is chosen, then we'll say it on the show, and you will win a copy.
We just asked for two things. Follow us on Twitter. That's @UCB Podcast. And send us an email at underthecardboardbox@gmail.com. So you can win just like Carlos did. He said, hey guys, I want to participate. How about you guys discuss a possible MGS using VR? That would be really cool. Thank you for the chance. UCBP.
You know, it's funny. When we selected it, and then we also had news about it.
Yep. Yeah.
So it was kind of like we already kind of talked about this.
A little bit, yeah.
But then I was just like, let's elaborate.
Right.
And then Heido was like, yeah, let's do it. So go on, man.
So, in the sense of Konami, obviously they own the IP, making a Metal Gear VR game. I see it in a way where, let's start with original. Metal Gear Solid VR missions, right?
Uh-huh.
There's obviously certain of them that are in first-person view. That's how I could imagine VR.
From Substance, yes.
Right? But I see it as just a one-game Metal Gear VR missions remastered for the PlayStation VR or the Oculus Rift or something. Imagine you walking through the corridor, starting out, you're picking whatever you want, and then you're just going ahead and just first-person view or even third-person, going in and just experiencing it for the first time in virtual reality. What do you feel?
I think I was gonna say I think it'll be a dream, but I know what would come after that. We always say snake eater or something like that. But honestly, I that would be awesome.
Yeah.
It would definitely be something I would get.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
I think this will thrive, like we were saying before.
Yeah.
This will thrive in getting that IP for the PlayStation VR.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of tried to do something immersive like that for Metal Gear Acid 2, where they tried to immerse the player with the solid eye or what, you know.
Yeah, with the PlayStation Portable.
And so, you know, doing that for other it was a third-person perspective.
Yeah.
But doing it for other games, kind of revamping them, kind of like remastering them, so that we see a 3D perspective.
Yeah.
Would be great. I just thought of MGS, like when you're crawling through the duck.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And you kind of see these things going on. I thought it was great. I thought it would be great.
Yeah, it's a great iteration to maybe adding on to something. Certain parts can be, you know, VR. So I was thinking of going through the timeline of games. You know, Metal Gear Solid 1. You know, like you were saying, going through the ducks, Shadow Moses. How awesome would it be in like you're the camera there, you know, and you're experiencing this. Imagine what kind of tricks you would do with Psycho Mantis, you know, like as a breaking the fourth wall kind of
which he did, yeah,
kind of thing.
Can you imagine him responding to you as like, I see you?
Right,
like,
that's creepy. Yeah,
like, you know, instead of reading your memory card, it's just like like you're not part of this world or something like that. It would be pretty cool.
So, you know, Metal Gear has always been a third-person view game. You know, like when I think of immersion in games, I think of first-person view games, and you know, you're in it. So how can this possibly work with a third-person view game?
Third-person view? I don't think it would. I think it would work just like the Solid Eye. It's just immersing you in the environment.
Yeah.
You know, the sounds.
Right.
You know what I mean? You hear distinct sounds. You hear footprints. You hear, like, you're just deeply immersed in it. Yeah. But you're seeing yourself from a out of body experience kind of a thing.
Right.
Can it work? Possibly. Is it the best route? Not that I wouldn't recommend a third person VR kind of a thing, because then it's just like, what's the point of VR?
Yeah.
I mean, it can look good.
Right.
It can look good, but it's just like, just imagine, you know, it's still third person, but the point of VR is just like, you can't turn the camera around you kind of a thing. You gotta look.
You gotta look. Yeah. Yeah.
And
especially for the old games,
it would definitely
Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 2.
It'll
Metal
immerse.
Gear Solid 3.
It'll immerse the game much more. And that's funny that you mentioned that, because you can't adjust the camera in Metal Gear Solid 1.
Exactly, but you could only do the whole
or part 2,
like just shifting the camera.
In part 2, they introduced that. In part 3, in Substance, they changed that where you can kind of like
it's finally over the shoulder
move
kind
the
of
camera. That's 3D. They put over the shoulder aiming. But what I mean is, in Substance, they allow you to freely move the camera instead of just tilting it to like a corner.
Right. So it could be something like that where you're kind of playing bird's eye view, you know, and you look up, you look left, you look to right, and you could do the shift of camera. You know, your head and your eyes would work as the right analog stick. You know? Yeah. I mean, I guess would you put a designated button for first person view then? Kind of like the game does, and then you're able to freely look? Yeah, I think so. Like, you'll have to hold like a button. Like, let's say if you hold you know, R1 or something, and you're like just kind of like looking left and right. So what you do with that time is something that can work together with the camera angles. Let's say if you're crawling through the ground, for example, right? You know how sometimes when you go through the grass, it goes into first person view. Like, let's say if you could choose the option to go into VR and into going into, let's say, I don't know, you go into first person view and you have something, you're crawling through the ground, and you can choose which one you want. What is going on here? What are you doing?
I'm trying to like.
Are you doing like hand signals here?
I'm trying to remain professional in front of the camera. I'm trying to tell Elvis my charger's in my coat.
How are you gonna possibly tell him that?
He's like, can you please go into my coat pocket, pull out my adapter, and connect my phone to because we were live streaming.
Yeah.
And it died.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah. So that's what I was trying to tell him. I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to be as subtle as possible, but then I don't like. I wasn't doing that.
This is what it feels like.
No, I was doing it with one hand. I was just like,
oh yeah, sure.
And I was like, yes, that is not. It's not in there. Okay, it's in my pocket actually. Okay.
It's in your pocket.
Elvis is losing it. Come here, man.
Oh,
here.
goodness.
Take it. Please.
It's been in your pocket the whole time.
No, it was in. I took it out to connect it before, and Elvis was just like, "Oh no, put it here."
But wasn't it charging on your computer?
I guess it didn't. Since it was live streaming, it was like draining faster than it could give.
Gotcha. Yeah.
There's one right over there. Just connect it there.
Right.
All right, back to the show. All
right. So, like I was saying, crawling through the ground in VR. I think it would be cool to give you an option whether you want to see it in third person, like snake slithering, or first person. I want to know how to work in immersion wise. Like maybe sounds and like the atmosphere and the environments would be cool. I see certain cool boss battles that can come out of it, like the Sorrow. Imagine going through that in first person view and seeing all the like the trails and stuff of people on you, the animals and stuff. And then you see Sorrow all the way in the back, kind of thing. That would be kind of cool. Yeah,
they tried to introduce kind of a first person experience, not just in the VR training missions, but in Metal Gear Solid 4. It was the first time that you can kind of like see freely in first person view
also
and move. It wasn't meant to be that way.
No.
So you were very limited in your movements, and you would mainly walk.
Yeah. You wouldn't really run like
you
how you do
run.
in
it wouldn't.
Phantom Pain.
Yeah, you wouldn't really. You would move very slowly. But if they did a VR of those games, I could definitely like. It would be, like you said, it would be crazy if you were playing maybe even part 4 and you're crawling and stuff like that, and you see like your arms.
Yeah.
And then you just like you do in the game, and then you see the camouflage just take on like whatever pattern you're on.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Things like that. Of course, they would have to work some mechanics because you could be able to use the blade any way you want.
Right.
Be able to hit any way you want. It's kind of like it would be like the final project from what the Kinect tried to do, because the Kinect kind of like when you would like fight in front of the Kinect, it would, or in the Wii with the nunchucks, it would read it in a certain way. So, just thinking about it, it would be so cool to play part 4 like that, or part 3 like that, where camouflage is something that It's just funny. I just thought of something in VR. You remember the beginning part where you jump off the plane? Like, can you imagine that?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like in VR, you just
really
like,
cool.
You're jumping and you're falling down. You hear the wind go past you, and you're just. It's the first Halo jump according to Metal Gear history.
Yeah, I believe that maybe if you just remake the game into a first person view. Like just the whole thing. You change it into certain aspects where you have to cover like. I believe that game could be first person view. It could be played first person view. The whole games, like any of the games.
Do you think if it was just first person view that it would be as entertaining though?
Oh no, of course not, because Snake is such a iconic character. You need to see him. But I think for the purpose of VR, you'd have to change it.
Well, yeah, the difference. Yeah, there is a difference there. In my opinion, first person and VR, two different things. Because first person, you get a perspective,
right?
But VR is you are given an experience. And so to experience MGS in that kind of environment, it would be different for them to kind of like, because you can have the biggest screen in the world.
Yeah.
And first person view will always still be first person view.
Absolutely.
So I think it would make the great difference. But if Metal Gear came out with a VR, I can only say that I would love it to be like Metal Gear Solid 5 though.
Yeah.
Where it was just you're free roaming, you're good to go. You can go in vehicles, you can call in D-Horse. You're talking about a lot of things, and it's a huge area to look around and kind of like you don't know where anyone is coming from anytime. And just imagine reflex mode in VR.
Yeah,
that would be like fring, like good. They're in this. You look.
Yeah.
And you aim the gun because of course you can do it yourself. and just pulling the trigger because time is slow.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? That would be so cool.
Very, very cool. Yeah, how I see it is just making the whole thing just first person view, trying to make it into that experience, into that immersion of Metal Gear. Facilitating it in a way where you could still get the Metal Gear feel to it, but also like I'm thinking of scenarios like being under a cardboard box and like you're peeping through the hole and stuff. Like you'll have to tilt your head up and stuff and like move.
Yeah, you won't be able to
like,
see the third person anymore.
Right,
it's
like just imagine you being in a locker or something and
you're
like
tilting your face.
You're
like,
tilting your face just to see
or
like
you get,
around.
You have to get close to the grail of it.
Right,
like,
to see.
But you know
yeah.
you have to do it slowly because if you do it too fast, you'll hear tang, tang. Like you'll hear
that'll be cool.
Like you just do it
cool.
slowly to peek and
Very
you peek
slow,
to the
yeah.
side.
Right. Driving vehicles will be cool, you know, like in Metal Gear Solid 5, you get to drive now. So Snake finally gets his license. So
yeah.
And he you know, just imagine him driving and you look to your right and stuff. I'm thinking of certain scenarios like Metal Gear Solid 3 where you're in the passenger seat of that motorcycle with Eva in the end, and you're like looking and stuff.
You look right at her.
Right. So I don't know if you ever. I'm pretty sure you've done it, but there's a cinematic mode, in Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yes, of course.
So in that part, whereas like if you leave it alone, it's like a
you
like
get
a scenario,
different angles
and
from
it's
different.
so cool.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You see like certain parts where you know you almost die, you're about to die, and like. It's like all the cars and stuff is about to hit you and you just get out. Imagine that in like a VR setting where, you know, you're seeing that actually happen. Like, whoa, this car's about to hit me.
I'm just really interested in how immersed it would be, like the sound.
Yeah.
From everything.
Yeah.
Like you're hearing the Shagohod like behind you and like
right.
the gears turning. And,
yeah.
You know, and when you plant the C4s to try to destroy it before any of that happens, like just hearing the ticker.
Right.
Like that's all things that I want to like hear and see. And
now also imagine Metal Gear Solid 4 when you're playing as Rex. You know, you're inside of Rex and you're fighting.
You see the control console, right? How about
you know?
in the microwave? Forget that.
Right, the microwave, man. That would be
microwave
great too.
and
that'd be good. You see Snake's octo camo just ripping off of him
you
and everything.
You see the Mark II right in front of you.
Right,
and he's trying to tell you like, come on, you know, like you
That's
can do
good.
it. Although I don't know.
Can you press first person view in that part?
I've never done it. I don't think you can.
Let us know at under the cardboard box.
No, please.
Let us know if you can.
Let us know if you can.
I want to see if you can because that would be pretty cool. You know, because I know it's like a double screen and then like the comic kind of.
I mean, I don't know how hitting first person. I don't think you can only because hitting first person view and then tapping triangle. Or X, whatever. It's triangle. It is triangle.
Is it? I thought it was box.
Or is it? No, they never do box. It's either. No, it has to be X. It's X. It's X. It's X. It's X. It has to be. But yeah, it was just those, and then the ending scene of Metal Gear Solid 4.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
you know, seeing Big Boss again. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. That would be cool too. That'd be very cool. I think that having VR, you know, just in a Metal Gear setting would be cool. But I think it would serve its purpose of having that IP, like selling the VR. Like, hey, look, we have Metal Gear on VR now. You know,
I definitely think it would help sell. Especially, I just thought of another scene while we were just talking about it. The first scene in the Phantom Pain when you're in the hospital.
Oh yeah,
and you're just like you're waking out of the coma.
Yeah, most of that scene is like in first person anyway. You know.
Yeah, so imagine immersed.
Right.
With every detail.
Yeah.
Like in your face. Like you feel like you are waking up from
the man on fire.
Which is like it's how I wake up every time in the morning, you know.
You're just like, what?
What? I started I think I'm gonna start playing The Man Who Sold the World as my alarm so that I can wake up that way. It's just like you know. But yeah,
that's good.
I agree with you. I think the IP. I think it would definitely sell the IP a lot more.
Yeah.
Because Metal Gear is such a story driven game, and it's the thing is that it's possible.
Yeah.
You know, I think of other games such as Uncharted, and it's like, could you really do it there?
Right.
Only because of all the climbing you do. It's really action packed. It's really great, and I think it would be great on VR. But we're not here to talk about Uncharted. But
Of course.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, it will be a great.
It would. Yeah. I think it would be quite the challenge.
game.
But
Mm-hmm.
Metal Gear kind of sets the tone in terms of story, in terms of, and Hideo Kojima pays a lot of attention to certain details, certain sounds.
Yeah.
I was really impressed, especially with the Fox engine. When you would shoot, the guns, you hear the bullets hit the ground, like, and it's the chilling.
And you hear it coming back up. Yeah.
Yeah, you hear,
It's good. It's good.
So it sounds like that I would be interested in.
For sure. Thank you, Carlos, for writing into underthecardboardbox@gmail.com, just like you can. We are also on Twitter, so follow us on Twitter @UCB Podcast to submit your question. We have more codes left for our Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain giveaway for PC. So just write into us with your topics, questions, or concerns, and hopefully you could get a shot at being a part of the show.
Yes, absolutely. Also, we are still doing our intros entries.
Yes.
So if you're interested in giving an intro, introducing us to the show, do so. Send it in to underthecardboardbox@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And, we'll choose it. We'll pick it. Steven did an amazing job.
Yeah, he was great.
It will not be the last time you guys hear it.
Nope.
But send it in, guys. We want you to be part of the podcast. We really do.
Absolutely. You guys are the voices of Metal Gears.
Yes.
So
you guys are the reason we still do this show.
yes.
So
Absolutely. Well,
thank
let's
you.
go on to the next segment.
It's time.
Trivia time.
All right,
All
the
right.
moment you've all been waiting for.
That's
right.
right.
It is time for trivia.
Trivia.
And the reason I wanted to say this first is because Heido will be testing me today.
Yes.
And so I will give him the floor.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about the rules, just for our new listeners.
Okay.
So each and every week we do some trivia. We say a line from Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear, any Metal Gear game, and we have to say, the person who's guessing has to say who said it to who, what game, and where. All right, are you ready?
No, I'm not, but here we go.
Okay. I wish to remain a hero of the great motherland. I cannot bear the thought of being hounded into a corner and left to waste away.
I'm trying to think of his name. It's Metal Gear Solid 3, I know.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of his name, though. His name! What is his name?
Christopher Gibson, you could be chiming in right now.
I think... Shoot, I don't want to say it's... I'm going to say Greznov. I think his name is Greznov. Speaking to Snake in Metal Gear Solid 3, when you're infiltrating the base as a Eva gives you a scientist suit for this, and he was the one who sent Huey the information for Metal Gear, a walking tank. And so that's, I might have the name wrong, but I definitely know who it is. It's Metal Gear Solid 3 in the base. The old guy, he's drunk. You're crocked, aren't you? So I think that's it.
All right. Well, you are correct, but his name is Alexander Granin.
Granin! I said Greznov. I'm
Greznov.
thinking Call of Duty.
Yeah. Reznov.
Greznov.
Yeah.
I mixed, they fused.
Yeah, they fused together. You made Greznov now. So, Konami, right in. You got that one correct, though.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. I was just like, when I heard it, he was like, I love this motherland. I remember it too.
Yeah,
He's like, I want to thank you for complimenting my shoes.
Yeah, the shoes.
The Tatiana gave it to him.
Mm-hmm. He says the line I just said right after the shoes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good job. You could write in to underthecardboardbox@gmail.com if you want to give us some trivia.
Yeah.
We'll read it. But then let's say if I read it, then I'll test Arnaldo. If he reads it first, then he'll test me. So, with that being said, we have come to the conclusion of our episode 14. Guys, honestly, thank you so much. This past week has been great for us. We launched our Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/ UCB podcast. You can go in there and you can pledge. We have 2 tiers. The first one is for our audio content so that you can get it earlier than anyone else. And the second tier is $5, which is our video content. You can get it before anyone else. Those are our 2 tiers right now. We're looking to expand a lot more. But if you want more information, you can definitely go to patreon.com/UCB podcast or go to youtube.com and write in Under the Cardboard Box podcast, and you could check us out there. We are also on Twitter at UCB podcast and our live streams every Thursday.
Yeah. And guys, we want to say this. Even if you can't give to the Patreon, you're still part of UCBP.
For sure.
You are still a member. You will always be VIP. We can't stress that enough. So yes, guys, but on top of that, we want to encourage you guys to, please be generous and allow us to further build the mother base.
Yeah. And if you want, like I was saying before with the Twitch streams, if you want to see us more, we do it every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I was gonna touch upon that. We have a goal now. We want to bring in more Twitch streams.
Absolutely.
We do want to bring in more Twitch streams. So the faster we get to that goal, the more we can get more Twitch streams.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that's all we have for tonight.
Yeah.
Elvis.
Thank you, Elvis,
thanks
for coming
joining
in.
us.
Remember, guys, you guys can get him at X Blackman X. That's his PlayStation Network game. What is it, Elvis? Tell us again.
X Blackman 91.
X Blackman 91. I'll repeat that. X Blackman 91. You can add him on PlayStation Network, so that you can play with him in Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain or any other games that he has. I thank him for coming to the show. He's a long friend of ours, longtime friend for a very long time, and still gonna be a friend.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to do a word count for an essay,
right? Just like
you have to do 5 paragraphs. He is a long time.
Well, he is extremely tall, so I have to say that. He's extremely
tall. Then why
tall.
are you still noted as the tall one in the group?
I don't know why. I don't know when he's the tallest.
Wait, let's just end this before this turns into another conversation. We are UCBP, you are UCBP, and we are signing out.